Joining us now from Washington, NBC News national political reporter Mike Memoli. His story on NBCnews.com is titled, "Biden's Personal Loss Emerges as a Touchstone on the Campaign Trail." Mike, good morning. It's good to have you with us. We saw it right there when Joe Biden communes with other people who've suffered a loss, as he's suffered so much loss. He's so good in those settings, and he's finding that again on the campaign trail this time around, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right, Willie. I've been covering the former vice president now regularly for over 11 years, and it's always been remarkable to see how he continues to really endure and push through these tragedies that he's suffered throughout his life, and increasingly now, as he is in his third presidential campaign, how this is providing an unspoken bond between him and many voters. You know, every December, on the anniversary of that 1972 car accident that took the life of his wife and infant daughter, the Biden family would mark that tragedy in private. But yesterday we saw Joe Biden in public on that fourth anniversary. It's something of a quirk in Delaware law where Memorial Day, they continue to celebrate it on May 30th. And so the vice president was there with his wife, but also his granddaughter, Beau's daughter. He talked about how the pain fades over the years, but that moments like this are bittersweet, that it all comes back, the pride and the pain. And Willie, you know, as I've been watching him on the rope line, it's really been remarkable. Beau is very much part of Joe Biden's campaign still right now. He talks about it in the context of health care, how he doesn't know how his family would have gone through Beau's illness if they were worried about being able to pay for it, and how he wants to provide that for others. He talks about how in 2015, when he announced he wouldn't run for president, his regret then was that he would not be the president who oversaw the end of cancer as we know it. Well, now he says, if you elect me, I will be that president. But to cover Joe Biden is also to see him work a rope line like really nobody else. And I began to notice him in these interactions with voters where it's often smiles and selfies and handshakes. Every so often his face will change. He will go from a familiar smile to a knowing, concerned look. And I went back and listened to some of those conversations that he was having, and people were saying, you know, I lost a child to cancer. I was diagnosed myself, and I couldn't pay for treatment. The Affordable Care Act saved my life. Yeah. And he's always there saying, keep the faith, keep the faith. And so this is very much something we're going to see going forward as he has this sort of connection to voters that goes far deeper than politics and policy.
Joe Biden has always carried this unimaginable grief that, thank God, none of us at this table can understand. Again and again, he's suffered those tragedies with his children. He carries it with him, and you can see it, as Mike says, when he looks into the eyes of somebody who has a shared experience, or even someone who has lost someone recently. He connects in a way that I'm not sure anybody else can on this campaign trail.
You know, Mike just mentioned one of the most important aspects of the Biden candidacy at this point and at any point in the past. He is a man who understands something that all Americans understand. He understands loss. And in an age when we have a president of the United States, a sitting president of the United States, who symbolizes such a lack of empathy and a level of cruelty, that the Biden candidacy is a glimmer of hope.
It's humanity. Mike, before we let you go, what is the posture right now sort of the Biden campaign? They obviously have huge leads at this very early date in those important early states. He's doing very well among African-American voters in the state of South Carolina as well. When you look into the crosstabs, how are they feeling about things and some of their challengers as well?
Well, you know, before Joe Biden entered this race, I would hear often from his advisors that they thought that we were actually underestimating how he would come out of the gate strong, and in fact confound the expectations that maybe his best day as a candidate would be on that first day, and we've seen that borne out. I know there's been a lot of talk about whether he's campaigning enough, whether he's running sort of a light schedule. There is, of course, a lot of emphasis coming up now on that first debate, because his biggest strength right now is his perceived strength, this idea that he does have a strong lead in the polls, that he's perhaps the strongest candidate against Donald Trump. But that could all change in an instant on that debate stage at the end of June. And so what we're seeing now is his advisors really hunkering down with him, getting ready for that debate, getting ready for the attacks that are going to be coming potentially from all sides. What we know, though, is at least at this point, Biden is telling his advisors that he wants to make sure he stays positive, that he won't be joining those attacks on his rivals. But defending his record is going to be a challenge.
That first debate, by the way, 4 weeks from now. It's coming up quickly here on on NBC and all across our networks. NBC's Mike Memoli, thanks so much. Great to have you with us. Still ahead this morning, President Trump has been calling impeachment the I word. Donny Deutsch has another name for it. He thinks his rebranding idea may help Democrats sell impeachment to supporters and to themselves. Plus, Dow futures pointing to a negative open this morning on the heels of President Trump's tariff threat on Mexico. We'll talk to CNBC's Brian Sullivan about the president's surprise announcement. You're watching Morning Joe. We'll be right back.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.